Tonight on Zadanza, we will visit Wes Huff's Instagram page to just check on in and see if he's started behaving or talking at all like a serious person. We also might look at a situation with churches and taxation and politics. And if we have time, we'll do a love dare. All that and maybe more, who knows, on
Zadanza. Ooh. What's up, everybody? What's up? It's that day. It's Thursday, the holy day of Zoroastrianism, as some of you are claiming in the chat, which I think is it's a good day, you know.
Qualifies us for tax exemption, I'd say.
For taxes, which, hey, if we register as a church, we can start using political messages now. We can start endorsing candidates. So that's cool. That's a fun thing that's happening in this country right now.
Or if we register as a church and we tell them what it's about, maybe we can go to El Salvador and live there.
Yeah. All great things. Really cool. Yeah. How are you, my fine friend? You doing well this eve?
I'm doing pretty darn fantastic.
Oh, it's great.
That's really cool. I just might be of interest to people watching the show. I just released an Iggy and Mr. Kirk recorded, edited video on my Mr. Zod channel. So hour and 15 minutes just to me talking about the first 3 episodes of Iggy and Mr. Kirk. Also some of the background of it, such as what Brave Books is and how they promoted it and stuff like that. So
sweet.
That's that.
I'm going to give a shout out while you're giving a shout out to other things. There is a new project by student Dr. Ben called Holy Spirits, and it is about getting drunk and telling Bible stories. And I just talked with him today. I'm going to try to record one for it, but his channel is up, and his first episode's with Secular Rarity, so y'all should check that out. And I'll probably be one of the next ones here. I think I'll try to get a recording with him, not this week, but maybe next week. So that should be cool. Yeah, we're talking.
So you're saying he's accepting guests for that show, huh?
You want to go?
I'll check that situation out. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I'll tell him. I
haven't been drinking, but that'll make it that much more entertaining.
Well, he was like, "Hey, can you promote this thing?" He was like, "You should like this," and I was like, "Hey, man, I heard you're doing this," and he's like, "Yeah, you want in?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've been waiting for you to ask me." Because I didn't want to be the guy to ask to invite myself, and only because it sounds fun. So anyway, yeah, y'all should check it out. On that note, Wes Huff, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I've been waiting to tell this joke all day. Wes Huff, more like Wes Huff D's nuts. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you, everybody. That's the show.
That's exactly the kind of comedy that you guys
it's really classy. I know I tried really hard with that one. So yeah, Wes Huff, huh?
I can tell you spend a lot of time refining your craft.
For sure. Well, comedians, we really sacrifice a lot. As my mentor Brad Steins taught me. We're basically we're kind of like soldiers in that way. What I'm saying is we should get a discount when we go to Denny's for like 15% off at least.
Everybody asks me. Everybody thinks that I'm like retired military. I must just.
I can see it. I can see it. Yeah. Take it for the compliment.
I grew my rebellion facial hair.
Yeah, you look like you could have been like no, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. Let's move on. All
right. Plow King said, just to change the subject, let's have a Zadanza meetup for the start of the Iditarod. Need time to plan.
That's not in the summer though, right? Isn't that in the winter? So doesn't that take a little while? Okay.
What do you mean take a little while?
Well, time needs to progress up until that point.
Oh yeah, it would give us time to plan though. Give us time to plan.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I've never been to Alaska, so I don't know. That sounds scary, to be honest.
No, it's not. My kids sang the national anthem for the start of the Iditarod last year. Maybe you'll do it again.
That's great. As a vegan, I don't think I could support the Iditarod. There might be some complications there.
Oh, because the
But
dogs don't eat salads.
the dog's doing it. I don't know how other vegans feel about it actually. I don't know. But I've heard stories. So I'd have to do more research. But
Yeah, so my standard thing is we used to have dog teams and run them and stuff like that. And dogs love getting out and running, and those
mm,
dogs love doing that. However, I don't know that necessarily running them for the distance they do on the Iditarod is as
don't
healthy
some
and
of them get
enjoyable
injured
as
and die from it? Like, isn't it? It's not like casualty free, right? Like,
I would say. I would say, yeah. Ashra says, "Aren't the dogs psyched to do the Iditarod?" They are. So they really love running. There's nothing that gets dogs more excited than if they see you coming out and you're starting to get the sled out and stuff like that. They're hopping
that's
around,
fair.
barking. They're ready to go.
Sure.
The flip side of that is one of the reasons they're excited is because you keep all these dogs just sitting in wooden houses out.
Mm,
And so there's
right.
that side of it.
Right.
Um, but yeah, from what I understand, they are very well taken care of. They get great veterinary care. There are some injuries and deaths, but it's actually probably lower than average for uh, that population of dogs.
Mm.
Um, some of that might come from just Alaskan talking points, and I picked them up from more conservative youth. But I think there is some truth in that. That said, I don't know that applying that care toward running them as hard as they can for 1,000 miles, it's probably a little complicated.
Yeah, I imagine other vegans would have something to say about it. I don't really know much about the event. I don't know what goes on, but in general, there's a distance between using animals for pretty much any kind of labor like that. But that's neither. This isn't really what we came to talk about today. I don't know if this is like
I
what's
just
on some.
brought up someone saying there's a meetup. You turned it
That's
into a thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's on me. Ashra says, I get Dan's concern though, you Don. And they meant to say you don't because they kept going. But somebody at work, a client called me Don the other day. And that's kind of been a joke now. And other people have called me Don for other reasons. So I just thought that was funny. I wanted to bring that up in any way.
Yeah. No, I get the concern and I have mixed feelings about it. I have I have my Alaskan and sentimental thing for running dogs and all that kind of stuff. I also get that it's exploitive. I don't know if it's the healthiest and happiest thing for them.
mm,
Dogs should run free and be pet and have an owner who like gives them attention and stuff like that. So
hell yeah.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I guess more than the running, it's the leaving them just tied up in a wooden box and not really getting attention and stuff like that. And they just sit
Yeah.
there and run circles out in the yard. So
Mm,
anyway, we don't need
mm,
to keep going there.
yeah.
Time Jumper says, "Can I bounce an idea off y'all?" Absolutely. If you just want to email us, I think it's the danjustshow@gmail.com.
Yeah.
But
We've had it for over a year now, and I still don't know. I always question the wording every time. Is it the Zidanza Show? I think it's just Zidanza
I
Show.
think it's just the Danza Show.
Yeah.
Also, I need to set up our account to just automatically put all that text at the bottom of the description box.
Yeah.
So
So many
we'll
things.
work on that,
Yeah. We'll
or
get
we
to it.
won't. Who knows? Live and don't learn. That's our motto. Anyway, Wes Huff.
Wes Huff. He's a guy on the internet. We talked about him before. We talked about his appearance on Joe Rogan and some of the claims that he's made. And
Kip Davis
when-
just showed up and said more educated, intelligent things about him than the two of us ever will.
right. Yeah,
But
that
it's
happened
still
as
fun.
well.
It's still fun to riff on him, and you don't need to get into deep scholarship to see what a just willfully silly person okay, not a silly person. I think he's choosing to become a willfully silly public figure. Maybe that's a way of putting
Yeah, Wes Huff to me is just exhausting, right?
it.
He's one of those guys that like probably does positive affirmations in his mirror for 5 minutes every day before he does anything. Like at 5 o'clock in the morning before he goes and runs a 5K. You know what I mean? He's like
Yeah.
ambitious, high achiever type. Not that there's anything inherently wrong with that. I certainly love a lot of ambitious people in my life, and I've been described as ambitious by people. I don't know if that's true. Point is, it's just like, the type where it's like, yeah, I'm on my grind. I'm on my shit every day, 24/7. I don't know. There's something about that type where it's like he's gonna keep doing his thing regardless. and
Yeah.
it's just gonna annoy me. I don't know. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Kip says Wes Huff has published no books. Steve Weber, lots of appearance, not so much substance. I think that pretty much sums him up. Asherah says he knows he's running a grift. I don't like jumping to jumping to conclusions about people's intentions, but he definitely gives. We'll see today. Some of the stuff he says, we've already seen this before.
He's a salesman of his ideas. I'll say that, right?
And I would say not even his ideas. Some of the stuff he says is just so simplified and silly. I don't even think they're his ideas. I think he's just selling a public performance of apologetics and just general church stuff. But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is I can see him being exhausting.
I'm thinking of like, while you're pulling this up, I'm just thinking of like it's like a girl I knew in school who like was on a honor roll and was lead in school orchestra and lead in her athletics, and it's just like, oh my god, you're so you're that person. The girl who was like, who asked the teacher before class leaves that they forgot to assign homework. Like that's who Wes Huff strikes me as, I guess.
Yeah.
Call me a slacker. I'm just saying. I'll call it as I see it.
Yeah, I don't think he's been applying himself toward a lot of academic or intellectual rigor, but he's definitely all for the grind of like getting himself out there and growing a following and becoming a big public figure. So
Yeah.
you want to see what this page is all about here?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's why I'm here, huh? I guess that's what we're gonna do. So let's do it.
Plow King, is Jean-Luc Picard would say, "Shut up, Wesley." That's a Star Trek Next Generation.
I understand. When I know who Jean-Luc Picard is, I just don't know anything he's ever said. Okay, so I get it.
Okay,
Sorry,
okay.
still not watching Star Trek, y'all. It's not happening yet.
Okay. So we have a couple things. One is, who am I? This is like an introduction to himself. I think it's a little boring. Of course, he's got himself with his big moment with Egghead there. What's his name?
Egghead? Wait, actually, I don't even know. Wait, who is that?
I'm legitimately spacing on his name for a second.
I
The world's biggest
actually
podcaster. How am
That's
I
not Joe
forgetting his
Rogan.
name?
Wait, is that Joe
Yeah,
Rogan?
Joe Rogan. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
I'm just spacing on the name Joe Rogan for some
I guess
reason.
it is. He looks, man, he's okay. He's looking the way. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's looking different than what I
I am
remember.
deeply sorry for forgetting Joe Rogan's name. Not to him, but to everyone who had to sit there and listen to that. So this is nothing much. Of course, he's just going to promote the fact that he was on Joe Rogan, I guess, for some reason.
Well, of course,
that reason being that he's a big public figure. Who am I? He has himself. Let's just, I guess. Oops.
Get it going.
Professional Christian apologist, former paraplegic, and retired track athlete. I have a wonderful wife and 3 amazing children, and I currently live in Toronto, Canada. I was born in Pakistan, and when I was really young, my family.
All right, this is kind of boring to me. I don't know.
Damn, you didn't even let him get to 20 seconds, Zod. You must have been real bored. That's crazy.
Well, it's just I've seen a top few of these things, and it's just kind of
okay. I haven't seen it. You
okay,
were like
you
a Gen
watch
Alpha kid for just a second
let's watch
there.
it.
Okay.
I'm being hyperactive and not.
You canceled out real quick.
I'm Wes. I'm a biblical scholar, professional Christian apologist, former paraplegic, and retired track athlete. I have a wonderful wife and 3 amazing children, and I currently live in Toronto, Canada. I was born in Pakistan, and when I was really young, my family lived and worked in the Middle East. I currently study early Christian manuscripts and specialize in scribal features and the transmission of ancient.
Real quick, if you read the side here, he's just saying he's reading exactly what's on this text over on the side. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And you can see him reading too, as you always can.
Texts.
I feel like that
specifically,
makes
I
sense.
study paratextual.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I feel like other people do that too. I don't know if there's like a really particularly good reason for it, but
it's fine, I guess. I guess just share your transcript so we can read what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to keep playing it, or
that's up to you? Are you?
I mean, well, I'm reading ahead of it here. I guess so. Like when I was 11 years old, I was diagnosed with a rare neurological condition that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Why doesn't he say what the condition is?
I don't know.
That's kind of
Yeah,
weird.
let's talk about that. Over here, he
Yeah.
has 22 years ago today, I was healed from being a paralytic.
Yeah, he was healed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even pay much attention to this before. 12th century, Luke 5:17-26, illumination depicting Jesus healing the paralytic. Sorry.
Picture of myself in my
Wheel,
wheelchair, January
January
2003.
2020.
Today is what we in our family call our miracle day. 22 years ago, I was healed from paralysis. Just before my 12th birthday, was diagnosed with a rare neurological condition that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Told by doctors that my chances of walking were extremely rare due to the speed at which the inflammation on my spinal cord happened. Okay, so it wasn't possible, but it was rare. So I think that means it's not a miracle. But
First off, let's nail down what it sounds like when someone says I was healed from being a paralytic.
yeah.
To me, that sounds like you had a pretty much permanent condition where you were either, born unable to walk or had been in an accident and your spinal cord was severed or something along those lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to make light of his situation. I know what the rest of this says, and what he went through would have been very freaky and scary and uncool. But it doesn't sound like what he's describing, at least at first glance. We have a comment. We have a comment. Michael Beverly did a video about his disease. That's so he's applying his detective skills to other people's stories, huh? But see, what Wes puts it right out here, and except for maybe more details about what the
Yeah,
what
so
the
it's
disease
saying
is.
it was the doctors who first used the term miracle to describe my instant and unexpected recovery. In honor of the anniversary this week, I put together another manuscripts that record the instance of Jesus healing paralytics. Okay, but like Jesus didn't go up to you and heal you, though. Like it doesn't even say that his family prayed about it. It just says that like he had a condition and then like he got over it. So
Yeah, and this lasted a month. When he was 11, I think almost 12 years old, he got a inflammation. What was it? The neurological. He's diagnosed with a rare condition that gave him an inflammation. He woke up one morning, his legs were numb, and he couldn't walk for about a month, and then he got better. And from what I'm seeing in the chat, and I also heard in other comments, this people recover from this very commonly. Like this isn't anything that crazy.
well, I don't even know what his disease is. He didn't list it, so I can't even say anything on it really.
There are people in the chat saying, and I don't know where exactly they're getting the information. I don't see it offhand, but I've seen people transverse I'm sorry, I'm not pronouncing it well at all. Let me put it on screen.
Transverse myelitis. No, this is somebody saying their dad was paralyzed by it. I don't know.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, I just saw the. Okay.
I just don't want to say anything that's not true, especially with something like this. I want to take this as seriously as possible with due process. So I can't comment on the exact nature of this guy's condition. All I can say is based on his own testimony, other people have been healed by this. So I mean, it's kind of a cliche at this point. Like why are we celebrating this as an act of God? I don't know. Because he's a Christian, so he's gonna view it that way, I guess. But
yeah, I don't know what the story is, exactly what this disease is. I've heard people say things about the recovery rate, but I really don't know. But I can tell you it comes off as kind of tacky to me that he makes it sound like he was basically a completely disabled person and he suddenly got healed one day, where he had a month-long inflammation where he wasn't able to walk and then got better. Like,
yeah, I mean, imagine all the other paraplegics commenting, being like, "Hey, cool, bro. I'm glad God chose you over me."
Yeah.
Like, that's great, I guess.
And I
I guess
don't want to take his situation lightly, but I feel like the way he's overblowing this, it makes a mockery of other people's disability who,
well, it's clout.
yeah,
It's like he's using it to advertise God or whatever, but like by advertising God, and you may say, "Oh, that's a noble thing." He's also furthering his own like career. Like
yeah,
it gives him he would not post this unless it gave him some sort of credibility or gave him more interest. I mean, that's just what it is. Zod, when I was in college, this is a true story. I had really bad pneumonia. I was hospitalized with pneumonia. It was so bad I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink. And you know, tens of thousands of people die from pneumonia every year, Zod. But you know what? I was cured. I was healed.
yeah,
So yeah, you never heard that because who fucking cares? People, right? Like, I'm not
yeah.
gonna put that on my bio on Instagram, but you know,
Yeah, and unless you want to play it as some big testimony to your own resolve and, willingness to fight a disease or whatever, there's not really much of an angle if you're not religious. Like
mm,
turning it into a healing thing. Again, I don't want to say for sure that we know what his motivation is for doing this, but it comes off as overblown on purpose. And when you're promoting your own ministry and your own social media presence, and you put the stuff at the top, it's hard not to wonder whether it's meant to be self-promotion and to think that maybe it is.
yeah. Um, real quick, we got a super chat, $20. Thank you so much for Christopher DeBlanc for that. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
He says, has anyone heard for how Dave Warnock is doing? I know he's been getting sicker. It's been at least a year since I heard about Dave. I actually was at Sidney Davis Jr.'s wedding. So it was like October. When I talked to somebody who knew about Dave, and he's last I heard, this is months ago, he was doing okay, but he was just kind of keeping to himself more. You know, I mean, he's still alive. I mean, but yeah, I mean, obviously his condition is kind of making it harder for him to go out and stuff, and he can't drive and things like that. But he's just kind of keeping his privacy. I know he's not posting much on Facebook, but I wouldn't confirm anything unless he told me or anything. I'm hearing this other hand, so there you go. But I at the time he did want other people to know that he was okay. But this was over half a year ago now, so I don't know. He hasn't talked to me. We're not like super close, but I saw him in Hawaii one time. Did you know about this story, Zon?
No.
I went to Hawaii. My wife had a work conference in Hawaii, and we landed. We got on a bus, and we drove by, and I saw a guy walking, and I was like, that guy looks like Dave Warnock. And my at the time girlfriend was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then later at the hotel, Dave Warnock was there in Honolulu, just like chilling. He went on a scuba diving thing for people with his conditions and stuff. We just happened to meet in Hawaii, which is like the most random fucking place to meet someone. So anyway, that's a fun story.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. But
You know who I randomly saw in Hawaii?
who?
Jason Momoa.
Wow. Wait, is that real? Is he
Yeah.
actually? Oh, that's kind of random.
I was
That's
just
cool.
walking. I was just we're in I think we're in Honolulu at the time, and there's just this crowd of people and this tall guy in the middle walking with his big old smile on his face. I said, wait, that is Jason Momoa.
Sick. That's cool.
I don't mean
Anyway,
to distract. That just
no,
popped in my head.
we're telling my fucking boring story.
Well,
But
also we're talking about Dave Warnock and where
and
he's
also
at
talking
right
about
now. So
Dave.
that, yeah,
Someone's saying Dave Warnock is scheduled at NanoCon this year. So that's cool. Okay, so I guess
nice.
he's doing better than I thought. So there you go. You know?
And misinterpretations also said 2/3 recover from what Wes had and 1/3 do not. Again, this can very easily come off as really shitty, and I don't.
Yeah.
Again, this can start to sound like you're just downplaying his condition, his situation. I feel really bad that he went through that. I think that would be a horrible thing for a kid to go through and for your parents to go through, and that's gonna stick with you through your life. And so I think it's okay for him to share that part of his life and talk about how dramatic it was and what it meant to him. But number one, again, it sounds like he's overblowing it for the sake of a typical Christian testimony type story. And then number two, this he explains for supposedly being a cutting edge intellectual and a scholar and all this kind of stuff, he says everything in very routine Christian terms. So automatically calling this a miracle, saying that the doctors called it a miracle, when at best that's probably just them using miracle as like a, exclamation that something's crazy or this turned out really well. They're using it as a figure of speech. I don't know. It gives me
No,
the ick.
yeah, I mean, Wes is not an unintelligent guy. Obviously, he studies this stuff. I would ask him what his definition of a miracle is, because if a miracle is a recovering from a disease that people have recovered from, like I don't know why we should, even if it's unusual or less than 1%. I mean, if there's a precedent for it, I don't know how miraculous that is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You get into some weird territory there. So
It's just evangelical script, and the fact that he regurgitates it so by the numbers is one of the things that just makes me not want to take him seriously or not feel.
Also, another thing I just want to point out, because in his video, can we go back to it? We don't have to watch it. I just want to read the description.
Yeah.
Real
Hey,
quick.
I'm Wes.
He says he was a retired runner.
Yeah.
Where's did he like do it professionally, or I used to play tennis. Does that mean I'm a retired tennis player? I don't know.
I'm a biblical scholar, professional Christian apologist, former paraplegic, and retired.
That looks like him in high school or college, right?
Yeah. So
like, if you're a college athlete, does that mean you can say you're a retired like football player or whatever? I don't know if that's how that works.
I played high school basketball and maybe could have clawed my way onto the bench of my college team. I wouldn't consider myself a retired basketball player.
I don't know. I don't know the story there, but again, it's like he's being a little vague because it gives him more credibility, I guess. It's just a weird thing to brag about your hobby like that.
Kip says he was a college athlete. I think that counts.
Okay, does it though? If you're a college athlete, does that mean you're a retired player? I don't know.
It comes off as, to me, it comes off as weird terminology, and like you said, just a weird thing to brag about. But maybe that's technically a phrase people use. I'm just not familiar with it. And again, I don't want to get to the point where we're nitpicking everything he says about his own personal story.
You're right.
But there is a feel to this for sure.
Yeah.
And obviously he put that immediately after former paralytic. I want to keep saying paraplegic. Former paralytic. He put that there for a reason. All right. Should we look at some other stuff? Get off his life about his person. His case was all right. Can you trust them? Oh, that's boring gospel stuff. Can you trust the gospels?
You're the expert here, Zod. You tell me where to go.
Okay, this is just a picture of him making a face, hanging out with a 2,000-year-old Coptic manuscript, as you do. Cool. You like being around. He loves his photo ops with manuscripts and artifacts and archaeological sites.
He's got to post to the gram,
Yep.
It's what you got to do.
And again, that's fine. But when there's some bleed over between that and trying to pass yourself off as an intellectual or a serious academic.
All good people go to heaven. That's clear biblically, right? But Jesus says no one is good but God. So we have a dilemma, right? All good people go to heaven. No one is good but God. What does that mean? No one's going to heaven. We are both worse than we realize and have the potential to do much more good than we realize. When the garden and the fruit, if we want to take that literally, or like we want to do the Jordan Peterson thing, whatever. Yeah. What we get though, God knows what's best for our flourishing. And when it says that you will know the difference between good and evil, it's less of like an intellectual understanding of what good and evil are and more of a choosing the shots on our own terms. Even though God created...
All right, this is boring.
Yeah, also, that's just moral relativism if you're saying we get to choose on our own terms. Obviously, like, that doesn't solve anything. This is just vapid bullshit. This guy, Wes is God. Like, I would love to be Joe Rogan's fucking spiritual advisor and just tell him what the Bible says because he's not going to fucking read it himself, right? Like if this is what the gig is, yeah, sign me up. That's a grift I'd be down for, sure. But yeah, come on. I don't know.
The thing about this to me is just that it's just nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing really that wrong with what he's saying. He's just like carrying on about Christian theology and what Christians think about whether you go to heaven or everything. He's just sitting here. I don't know. It's just such basic stuff you've heard in church 1,000 times, and he's sitting here speaking as an expert, as if he's expounding on something new, and it just makes him come off as, I don't know, a just cheap performer or something.
Yeah. Like the Christians love to say that everybody knows the difference between right and wrong, like it's in our hearts, but that's like just objectively false. Like not even talking about like from a moral objectionist standpoint. I'm just saying like you can absolutely survey people's ideas of what's right and wrong, and people will not have very clear understandings of that. Like people have differences of opinions there, and the fact that people have opinions doesn't mean that it's clear that it's written on people's hearts, right? Like it's I don't know, it's very silly.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to get at, I wasn't really explaining it well. It just comes off as pandering to basic Christians in the pews. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if you're a biblical scholar and you have really serious things to say, is just sitting there and expounding on churchy things and just really obvious rehashed churchy terms, then it, I don't like it.
But they're impressed, I guess, or maybe they just are trying to get him on because he's popular and it's all just a circle jerk. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
well, it's not even him. It's not even the fact they put him on to do that, or that there's anything wrong with that. It's just the fact that he chooses to rehearse that, I guess, just says something about how he's trying to present himself and who he's trying to pander to.
yeah, you got any fun ones? You got any more
Let's see.
uplifting ones? What about that one with the turtle?
Oh yeah, let's look at the turtle.
Eli, we're at an ancient church and we found a turtle. So this is probably an ancient turtle who's come to worship at the ancient church. It's Saint John the Evangelist.
All right, Wes.
Like that?
All right, Wes. You want a point? You want a point from me? I'm giving you that one. That was pretty good. I was thinking it was pointless waste of time, but you know what? You won me over. All right. I'm marking that on Wes's side. He gets the tally.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That was a really corny joke, but I enjoy it, and I enjoy the fact that he did it. I'm not gonna be so petty. I won't get a smile out of that.
Yeah.
Is
the number of the beast really 666? What is this? Facility 75. Wow.
Gospel according to Luke, Gospel according to John, so pretentious.
Hey guy, can you get a video of me staring and reading and mouthing at these for the Insta? Thank you.
Kip Davis says that's the I'm looking at a museum exhibit pose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically, we don't need to watch this whole thing. I love how it just dramatically just keeps showing him sitting there reading it's just posing. You're just like trying to look scholarly for people who don't know what scholarly people do. Like, Kip, jump in and tell us if I'm wrong here, but I feel like nobody does actual scholarly work by going to a museum and looking through glass at an actual artifact like that. Like, you probably study a scan of it or study a duplicate out of books or something.
Yeah, well, a lot of museums don't exist just for the public. They exist for research, right? So like,
yeah,
you know, maybe he's there doing something else and he gets to look at it. And hey, I mean, good for him. You know, he's obviously passionate about it. That's fine. It's just a little silly to be like looking over and staring at it. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with him wanting to look at it and having a nerdy fascination with it.
Yeah.
But do you think the vibe he's trying to give his audience is that he was walking through a museum and he thought something was neat and cool? Or do you think he's trying to present himself as like sitting there doing seriously scholarly work and discovering things about the Bible?
100%. No, he wants to be that guy. That's the thing.
That's the thing I find irritating and just kind of funny is he's trying to pose as a stupid person's idea of an academic. Like,
Look at this comment from Tabitha Barnett. In a generation that has had so much information thrown at them, God put you as one of his voice pieces and created you to be fiercely studious as well as fiercely articulate. What a gift you are. I pray for your journey and I recognize the purposed hand of God on your life for this time, praying and would be quick to hear his voice no matter what, in obedience in your cry as you navigate which doors to walk through and which ones not to. Every prayer matters and God will always be faithful to you and be clear. Many blessings and prayers from Alabama. Wow, Tabitha. Okay, slow down, girl. Slow down. He's married. Okay, he's
Yeah,
got 3 kids. All right,
that's a
let's
Christian way of
calm
saying it.
down.
That's a Christian way of saying if I ever met you at a public appearance, wink, wink.
What? Yeah. Listen, get behind me, Satan. Okay. All right. You don't tempt the man. Don't be a Jezebel spirit. That's all I'm saying. Um, we got a super chat from Chaos a lot, who gave 1999. Thank you so much. It's a very generous super chats today. Who said, "Believe in the miracle of Star Trek TNG, Dan." All right, if you did give $20, maybe that's enough that I should like try to consider it and watch some of it. I know that means Next Generation too, so I'm not completely illiterate on Star Wars,
So
but I mean Star Trek.
Star Wars.
Whatever. The
I'm
Star
not.
Show,
I'm not a huge Trekkie, but there's a lot of it that's pretty fun to watch, and I think it's worth watching. I watched the original series a few years ago, just straight through, just out of curiosity about what it's like. I'd seen TNG, like I used to watch every episode when it came out when I was like in junior high and early high school.
Mm.
I would say if you're going to watch it, maybe watch the first couple episodes for sense of perspective, and then go through and get some qualified opinions about which episodes to watch and which to skip, because there are whole group like sections of that show you should just like not watch unless you really want to go back and be a completionist.
Yeah.
You just lost us a super chat.
Well, I wouldn't blame you. I mean, I haven't seen Star Empire Strikes Back. So no, just kidding. I have seen Empire Strikes Back. I was gonna do a bit where I was gonna pretend like I was complaining Star Trek and Star Wars, but I'm not gonna be that guy. I won't piss you off even more. So I'll try to give it a shot one of these days.
All right, you want to look at the number of the B666?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, it's just a series of images. Everyone knows the number of the beast from the biblical book of Revelation, right? It's 666. That's just common knowledge. If you open a modern translation of the Bible, Revelation 13:18 will reveal the calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast. It is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Wow.
Okay. Let's continue with this, but I just want to point out that he, as a like one to be taken seriously as a scholar and intellectual, is like putting this out there as a serious thing that somebody once said. This calls for wisdom. The one who has, I just always think that part just sounds incredibly stupid.
Yeah. That's how the vast majority of manuscripts of Revelation read. However, our oldest fragmentary copy of Revelation that includes this text reads differently. Actually, I'm not sure if I knew this. This might be new to me. Did you know this?
I've heard something along these lines.
Okay. This is true for another one of our most important copies of Revelation, Codex Ephremi Syri Rescriptus, which also has a bunch of shit that I can't read. 616. Oh, so it's a different number.
Yeah, I've heard that it was a different number. I didn't know the history behind it.
Writers like Irenaeus, the 2nd century heresies know that he has copies of Revelation that have 666 and others have 616, but he says his earliest, most reliable copies have 666, and that this is the one to be taken and preferred as the original. Okay, so a guy who is writing from the 2nd century, who maybe has the oldest books, but we're taking his word for it, says that the older ones have 666. All right. Okay. I guess if you believe him. I'm pretty sure Irenaeus is also the same guy that said like phoenixes are real. Maybe I'm getting that mixed up with another early church father guy, but yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Grant's give me how many more of these are there? Is this going to be a waste of my time? Of our time, I should say. Oh my God, we're
It's
doing.
just getting into the yeah. At its
Oh.
core, we're still talking
All
about
right.
somebody who wrote an ancient prophecy about beasts rising out of the sea and marks of the beast and stuff like that. So maybe
Yeah.
it's all just stupid, no matter what the specifics are.
Yeah, it's a number that doesn't mean anything to anybody in the real world these days. So I don't know if anybody should care about. But he's content engagement. He's like, oh, people are looking up. Hey, what does 666 mean? He wants to come up in the algorithm. I get it. That's the business.
And Kip is mentioning stuff about it being references to Nero and stuff like that. I think a lot of that Revelation stuff is about Nero and the Roman
That's
Empire.
what I've heard too.
All right,
and he's probably getting to that. But anyway, what?
You want to hear him say some just absolute nonsense?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm here for, baby. Let's go.
Gibberish. All right.
Christianity is inclusivistic in that all are called to come.
Yeah.
But it is exclusivistic in that Jesus loves you and calls you to come as you are, but he loves you too much to leave you where you are. And so it's unconditional, but it's not unconditioned, because
no, man,
all you have to do is
no. That means it's conditional. I don't think you understand. That's not how words work. You don't get to put his conditions in a box that says unconditional and then just say that's what it is.
All right, you want to keep we'll keep going through this, but what he said was it's unconditional. Wait, it's not conditional, but that doesn't mean it's not conditioned, or it's unconditioned.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Anything at all?
Does that mean literally anything? We're doing Deepak Chopra levels of nonsense here. Like, this is a problem, and this is a problem with a lot of people that have trouble wrapping their heads around, and particularly Christians. But like, love is kind of, I think it's reasonable to say that your love for somebody should be conditional. For example, I love Zod. He's my friend. If Zod became a Nazi tomorrow, I'm not going to be his friend anymore. Like, I'm going to distance myself from you, right? At the very least, and not like produce stuff with you, because that would be weird. So like, that's okay. I think you can have conditions. You don't have to love people unconditionally necessarily. If you have a son and your son like murders a group of people or something, like, yeah, maybe you can lose your respect for them a little bit. I don't know. Like, maybe that's just my hot take, but like, yeah, for Christians, love has to be unconditional, but also conditional at the same time somehow. So
yeah. But yeah, do you want to start this over so we can hear a little better?
Oh, sure.
All right.
No comments on my rant about conditional love?
No, I think it's I don't have I don't have comments, because it's just so obviously true. I don't think.
Yeah, I guess
what it's. You just.
That's fair.
You made the point well enough. I don't think there's room to expound.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, at the core, and we'll watch what he says after this, I guess. But at the core, the problem is what splitting hairs over what the word means. Like, you like the idea of unconditional love because you want somebody to have the security of knowing that
right,
you're there for them no matter what, and stuff like that. As long as, but there's also cases where somebody just does something willfully horrible, and you do need to respond to them differently. Like, in the relationships with the people closest to you, you need them to feel that they can't just trip up and make a mistake and suddenly you're cutting them free and you don't love them anymore. But if they become a Nazi or kill someone or something like that, obviously that warrants a reaction. And literally anything people do are constantly going to shape how you respond to them or what you think about them.
Yeah.
Whether that falls under stopping loving them or not, that's a whole other question. And I think that can get a little muddy if you're going to really, I don't know, twist.
Here's the thing. God's love is unconditional, but it also has conditions, and the conditions are if you're gay. That's really what this is about, I think. But anyway, let's watch it again.
Christianity is inclusivistic in that all are called to come.
Yeah.
But it is exclusivistic in that Jesus loves you and calls you to come as you are, but he loves you too much to leave you where you are. And so it's unconditional, but it's not unconditioned, because all you have to do is give up your life and follow Jesus. When I say it's unconditional, it's that Jesus says all are welcome to come. Mm-hmm. But there is a condition.
Yeah,
there is, right? It's not nothing.
Yeah.
Christianity is inclusivistic in that all.
He's just babbling his way in circles,
Yeah.
and he has to know it on some level. Come on.
PhD candidate, paraplegic healer. He not healer, but heal. You know what I mean? Fucking Wes
Yeah.
Huff. Wes Huff, everybody. Wes Huff. It's really
I just
good.
loved. I love that
If
one
I was a
line.
Christian, I would be suspect of that, right? Like that's just fucking weird. Or we're not being too nitpicky, right? Like that doesn't make any goddamn sense. Like I just don't see how it does, right?
I think this was probably. I think Misinterpretations has seen a longer version of that. Said that the host called him on it.
Yeah.
Which is fair, I guess. Yeah, the fact that he's even capable of that, he's not
But
trying to seriously.
He was
Go ahead.
proud of this. He put this on his Instagram. He got the edit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, that's what I mean, though.
Yeah.
He's capable of saying that, and then he thinks it's something he or somebody representing him thinks it's worth putting up here. And again, I think this is the kind of stuff that makes me think he knows better, and he's just pandering to Christians to make a career out of them. I don't know.
There's
any
another
way
one
around
there,
that.
written for you, but not to you. I mean, that could make sense. You could talk about like a law, right? A law is written for me,
Yeah.
but not to me. But I don't think the Bible was written for me. I think it was written for a very specific time and group of people.
Okay, so I really got stuck on that phrase. It's unconditional, but that doesn't mean it's not conditioned.
Yeah.
Simply because that means tell me in the chat if that means anything at all.
Yeah.
The closest thing I can find for meaning for unconditioned is that it's not a conditioned response. Like you're not trained to have a certain response or whatever. It's absolutely
definitely not
meaningless.
You know, you're giving him way too much credit.
Yeah.
I think.
No, I don't think that that's what he was going for. I think he's just throwing out terms just to weasel his way around what he's.
Yeah.
But like conditions, when something has conditions, that means that there's something you need to do to get a result. Like when they give you terms and conditions for a contract or for signing up for something, that means that you need to do something in order for the thing to work or for you to get the product or whatever. It doesn't mean you're limiting the people who can do it. So he's using just a nonsensical, he's using a nonsensical use of the word unconditional. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. It's very silly. What else you got? Is just war just war? Oh, great. No.
That's just boring.
Has AI
be
become
a
an
puppet?
idol? Secret manuscripts. Apologize podcast on AI. Oh, he used an AI image of himself. Cool.
Oh, I think this is the one I was thinking of.
Growing up, one of my favorite movies was The Muppets Christmas Carol. And with AI, you get to do fun things like this. Now we get to be Muppets. There's really no downside to this. I honestly don't. Like,
I've always wanted to be a Muppet.
What I want to know is, how do I look like this in real life? And why am I just as white and pasty as a Muppet?
You know what? I'm sorry. It was the limited materials, I guess.
That's right. They're not doing much. You can put lipstick on a pig. But...
Okay, but all right. Okay. You know what? I should have asked you to have your sword, because with AI, you can also make us anime.
Yes.
Now, this is far more suited for who Wes is.
Yes. Now Wes is happy.
There we
now
go.
We're good. Now we're good.
We're good.
Now we're good.
Anime Wes with a sword. People pay good money to see that.
Just a sharp back scratcher. I wish it was sharper and he had to lopped off the edge of his microphone.
I just cut straight off the top. Yeah, thank goodness I hit it with the dull end.
I feel sorry for all of you listening to this podcast, just audio. You're really going to want to see this video.
Yeah, you're going to have to
run to
hop
YouTube.
onto YouTube.
All right. Well, that second one, like that second guy looked like shit as an anime character. And the first, that one didn't even look like Wes as an anime character. That just looked like an anime character. So I don't know how well that filter is really working out for him. But I mean, whatever. It's just a bunch of people messing around with AI. So
yeah.
That was the one you wanted to show me?
It was just something different.
Oh, okay.
So Kip sent me the Wes Huff rap. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Do you want to switch gears and watch the Wes Huff rap?
It's no Zod. It's gonna be. Is Wes Huff rapping? Is he the rapper? Or is
I
he
don't know. I don't know. I'm going into this cold.
You haven't seen it? We're going into this blind?
He literally just sent it to me.
Oh my god.
All right. He says turn on subtitles too.
Turn on subtitles? Okay.
All right. You're just gonna have to suffer through this. I'm sorry. It's the Wes Huff
You're
rap.
gonna torture our audience like this and have a white man, a biblical scholar rapping Zod? How well is this gonna turn out? Are we gonna be okay at the end of this?
Oops. Sorry.
We're gonna lose live viewers with this now. They're not gonna
No,
come
I think
back.
we're gonna gain.
We're gonna gain. All
They
right.
want to hear Wes spit some bars, as whatever they say.
Oh no. Yeah. Oh my god. Mark Hamstra says you're going into it blind, but you will be miraculously healed. That was awesome, Mark. That was a good one. Oh man. Oh no. Oh, is that AI? Is that AI already?
All right, let's go.
Christ takes the penalty that we deserve. The full wrath of God is put on Jesus on the cross. And in that sense, God's law is fulfilled in justice. Because Christ gets the punishment we deserve, now we get what we don't deserve. Mercy actually experiences all of the sins that we commit on himself.
I'm blessed up like Wes Huff, I pray hard. Praise God, I'm back under his grace God. No longer wash clean, I'm God said. Y'all act silly, you're some Billy causing nonsense. I stand strong with Christ, you're like gorgeous. Only gave me unders my brain slang with bars hit. The raw kid, I live on living water. Drink from the well, spread the word of the Father. No shadow can bind me, no darkness at home. The light is behind me, what's
Please.
empty and cold. Now Christ with the fire, the
God,
light
I
on
just-
the road. My desire to grow is like in the fall. I'm on that West Side, blessed up and ready to die. I'm on that West Side, blessed up and ready to die. I'm on that
Lord-
West Side, blessed up and ready
Lord in
to
heaven,
die. I'm on that West Side,
I'm sorry.
wrapped up, ready to
I-
die. I'm on that West Side, blessed
I know
up
you're
and
real
ready
now
to
because,
die. I'm on that West Side, blessed
hell is
up and
real.
ready to die. I'm on
And,
that West Side, blessed
I
up
think I
Sorry,
made it right
what?
now. Oh Jesus, thank you, dear God, Christ in heaven. Zod, I did not ask to be tortured like this on stream. I think this is going to break YouTube's terms of service because you are showing abuse to me right now, and I don't appreciate it. That this was easily one of the worst things I think I've ever seen on this stream. I think I died a little bit on the end. You know that episode? You seen the new Black Mirror? You know how they put out spoiler alert, first episode of the new season of Black Mirror at the end where he's like, where she's like, oh, just take me out while I'm not here. I want you to take me out while I'm not here. I need you to get it over with now. I'm not done with this. I want you to imagine, Zod, you're a rapper and you want to use Wes Huff as your guy to get more cred for your rap song. What does your life look like? Like, what are you doing with your time? What's the strategy? I don't know. I don't know, Zod. I don't know. I did
Chip
just
says
take...
to be clear, that was not Wes Huff. That was a tribute by Scribble.
No, yeah, I got that. That's what I'm saying. Like, a guy was like, you know what this rap need? You know what I need to do? I need to make a tribute rap to Wes Huff because of how cool and awesome he is. It's just fucking lame. I don't know, man. The people are like, why is rap always about violence and sex and stuff? Would you rather listen to this shit? Like, at least the other stuff could be a little bit more interesting. Like, oh my God. Wow. All right. Okay. I got it out of my system.
All right.
I think I'm good.
Do you want to just like? Do you want to just do a love dare now?
I mean, I'm never gonna emotionally recover from this, but yeah, if you want to try to save marriages while we're at it, yeah,
All right.
fuck it, let's do it. Let's
I
see if
feel
the
like-
love dare will help me.
I feel like this Wes Huff thing is getting a little old, and
Yeah, I mean, can we top that? Honestly, Zod, can we get any better than raps
no, that's peak
for Wes
right
Huff?
there.
All right. Thank you for turning that off. Thank you for stopping.
Okay.
Because I think we'd have to go to Guantanamo Bay if you kept it
Yeah.
up. It would not be legal on U.S. soil.
Kip says we gained 15 viewers during the rap bit.
That's insane. That's insane. You guys are crazy.
You know,
Oh
kids
my
are
God.
into the rap these days.
They listen to the rap music. So like Will Smith is going like edgy with his rap. Meanwhile, white people are including Christian apologist shout outs to theirs. So the rap game really has changed.
Yeah, that's to rap what like Taco Bell is to Mexican food. It's
really cool.
all right.
This
Let's
is a
do
good
a love.
example from the humanity. He says Baggy and Bingo need to rap about Brad Stein. That's so true, Zod. This is a good idea. We need to have a Baggy and Bingo rap. I did, in fact, I brought a version of Bingo today. I probably should have brought him out earlier for Wes Huff, but maybe he can comment on the love there because, you know, it's been a while and the people have been asking where Bingo's at. So
Brad Stein needs a tribute rap.
I'm down for the Brad Stein tribute rap. I think that's a good idea. But see, I know my intentions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little different.
All right. You want me to start Love is Not Irritable?
Yeah, let me just bring up my good friend. Wow, you can't even see him too well with this background. But hey, look, everybody, it's been a while. It's Bingo. What's up, bitches? Fuck yeah. That's my shit. I was
Chaos
listening
Lot
to that
says
since...
blessed ass Christian.
Blessed ass Christian was that a line? Or no, he's just saying it as
Probably
a thing.
making it up.
Bingo's here. He's ready to comment on the love dare. I'm full disclosure. I don't know what I did with the original sock. So this is a different
I don't
sock.
need to know.
Right, but I just feel like it's important for lore keeping purposes that
Okay.
maybe Bingo has I don't know. He's got a tan going, I guess. He's a little darker. I think his sock is a little blacker. I don't know.
Like right before the show started, last thing Dan said is, "Oh, I need to go run and grab a sock just in case."
Yeah, you know, in retrospect, that wording could have used a little bit of work, but I don't know. Bingo's he's here and he's ready, so he's ready to spice up this love dare. Let's do it.
All right. Day 6, love is not irritable. So we learned last time love's not rude, blah, blah, blah. He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who captures a city. Wow.
That's fucking gay. I don't believe in that bullshit. Bingo, you can't. Bingo, you just got back. You can't get us canceled, dude. We can't use that shit anymore. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, Chad.
There's 40 days, by the way.
40 days.
You asked after the show last time, and Kip's asking right now. Yeah, there's 40 days. We're on day 6.
Oh, 40 days of this bullshit, and we're on 6?
Yep.
Holy shit. Goddamn. Okay.
Like I said, if you want, we could take a show one time and just power through a few of these, just knock some out, or we just gradually do them here and there.
All right. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm down. Bingo's down for this. But
maybe today we could get 2. We have a half hour here.
Maybe so. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. And this is so cool, though, how wise Proverbs is.
Very wise.
Just let this sink in. Like, what mortal could have come up with this wisdom? He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who captures a city.
That ain't true. I'm quick to anger, and I'm ready to slap a motherfucker. I'm so quick to anger, you don't even fucking know.
You know? So
Okay,
this
cool.
is bullshit already off the top.
Yeah,
Okay,
I agree,
okay.
Bingo. This is really dumb.
Well, I disagree. I think nothing says wisdom like coming up with a metaphor for something obvious. But, we all have our differences of opinion.
Okay.
Love is hard to offend and quick to forgive. How easily do you get irritated and offended? Some people have the motto, never pass up an opportunity to get upset with your spouse. What the hell? Who has that motto?
What the fuck? Wait, what's the motto? Excuse me?
I never heard of that.
Never pass up an opportunity to get. Man, the boomers were
Yep.
fucking wild. Is that true? Is that a.
Some people have the motto, never pass up an opportunity to get upset with your spouse.
I guess he must be speaking like metaphorically, right? That's that like.
Probably, but even then,
What?
yeah, I guess that's probably not a literal motto. It's probably just he's saying people live that way, but still, that's just weird.
That is really strange. I don't even think Bingo has anything to say about that. That's just really weird.
Why say something in a normal, helpful, smart sounding way when you could say it like this instead?
Yeah, that's very bizarre. All right, let's keep going.
When something goes wrong, they quickly take advantage of it by expressing how hurt or frustrated they are. But this is the opposite reaction of love.
Nah, fuck that. That's me every day. That's why all my relationships worked out. I take advantage of it. You know what my motto is? My motto is always get mad whenever possible. Absolutely. Every opportunity given to you.
Yeah. See, that's what
Okay.
Bingo says. And Bingo is sort of the goofus to Baggy's gallant. So I don't know if we should listen to him.
Oh, Benway23 asks, what are they reading? This is the Love Dare. It's I guess we didn't catch everybody up, but we've been reading the Love Dare. It's a companion book to Fireproof. And so basically, if your marriage is failing or struggling at all, they have these 40 days of dare. So every day you do one. And so we had Love is Patient, where you just don't yell at your wife one day. Well, spouse. This is obviously written for men, though. Love is Kind, do one nice thing and stuff like that. You do one of these tasks every day, and it's going to stop you from getting divorced, and you and your spouse will love each other.
Right. And everything works out.
But it seems a little weird that they say when something goes wrong, they quickly take full advantage of it by expressing how hurt or frustrated they are. Expressing how hurt and frustrated you are is kind of what you're supposed to do if you're hurt and frustrated.
Yeah, that's kind of what you're supposed to do. Yeah. No, you need to suck it up and deal with it. I guess.
He says that expressing how hurt and frustrated you are is the opposite reaction of love. No, that's honest communication.
Yeah, what's the alternative? Again, just like bottling everything up and never speaking about it and like resenting people.
What the fuck, man? This book is crazy. I would have thought I wrote this shit. I don't know what the fuck is going on, what you guys have been reading. This is ridiculous.
I agree, Bingo.
Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging my existence. I appreciate that.
To be irritable means, quote, to be near the point of a knife.
What the fuck kind of quote is that? Who are you quoting? What, Webster's fucking dictionary? What the fuck is that shit? Harry Potter?
I don't know.
What the fuck is that?
To be irritable means to be near the point of a knife, not far from being poked.
What?
Phrasing, Lana.
Well, I don't even fucking know what's happening right now. What the fuck is this?
People who are irritable are locked, loaded, and ready to overreact. When under pressure, love doesn't turn sour. Minor problems don't yield major reactions. The truth is, love does not get angry or hurt unless there is a legitimate and just reason in the sight of God. A loving husband will remain calm and patient, showing mercy and restraining his temper. Rage and violence are out of the question. A loving wife is not overly sensitive or cranky, but exercises emotional self-control.
Every fucking time, dude. It's always like, here's a criticism of the male in this heteronormative relationship, and here's the criticism of the woman, and the woman it just goes a little bit further with it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She chooses to be a flower among the thorns and respond pleasantly during prickly situations.
Bitch, you just said getting irritable is getting close to being with a knife. What the fuck? What is your definitions here? This is crazy.
Your wife's having a bad day. Things are getting a little tense around the house. Dear, are you choosing to be a flower among the thorns?
Listen, I read our book, and I think, honey, put the knife down, please. Listen, let's not make something major out of a minor inconvenience. Okay. I only left our son at school for 72 hours. All right. I forgot to ask you how you were doing those, how he was doing those days. I was skipping out on what the book recommended. You know?
Along with
Oh
just
my
how
God.
totally offensive this is, it's just this whole page is incoherent so far because he described like simply expressing hurt and frustration as being a problem.
Mm.
Then without explaining why, he starts easing into like getting out of control, which obviously you don't want to get out of control, but there's this weird conflation of any kind of expression of how you're feeling with just losing your temper and being irritated. This is the most half-assed marriage advice I've ever heard in my life.
Again, it's just the woman. The advice of the woman is always just one or two sentences more. You know, they got a little more work to do.
That's true. If you are walking under the influence of love, you will be a joy, not a jerk.
Okay, I'm walking under the influence of love. Why are we talking about love like it's LS fucking D? What is happening? What?
The humanity says, I'm no retired runner, but this sounds like terrible advice.
Like, I do something nice for my wife, and she's like, wow, that's really nice. I'm like, yeah, baby, I'm just walking under the influence of love. She needs to immediately question my motives after I say that, because that's just not what a normal person says.
Yeah, this person's trying to sound, he's trying to sound like, I think, a combination of churchy and pop psychologist or whatever, and it just comes off as weird.
This is a weird one.
Yeah, Hollyhock says acting like irritation is way worse than it is. I feel like that's the core problem here. He had this, he's trying to, for one thing, he's trying to fill out 40 days of advice, each with an easy intuitive title for a common audience of churchgoers. So he has this seed of an idea that he should address irritability, and he didn't really know how to go about it or put any thought into it. So we just have these like all over the place chastisements for just sharing your feelings or being annoyed or whatever. And I don't know. I think maybe he should have like maneuvered a little more carefully into this chapter or given something some thought.
The chat has come up with a really good stuff here. Belly saying walking under the influence of love, heart posture. Yeah, these are all crazy things evangelicals say. Also, people asking, Mark Hamster saying how many WUIs will land you in jail is also a good one. Yeah, I don't know. Just very strange stuff.
Why do people become irritable? There are at least two key reasons that contribute to it. Oh, please explain.
Yeah. Why do they become? Yeah, I'd love to hear this.
I'll tell you why they become irritable. It is drugs and people doing shit to piss you off, like minorly inconveniencing you, which is one of the worst things people could possibly do.
That's it. That's
well said. Well said, Bingo. Thank you.
Yeah. So here's the thing about the puppet side. You got to talk to the puppet. Otherwise, I'm just a crazy person with a sock. Okay. Like, you know, yeah, improv's about like yes anding. You know, you got to yes and with the puppet. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I don't really know where to go when he's just like saying what I agree with already.
All right, fuck you too then. All right.
Now, Bingo, you're getting
All
a
right.
little mad. You're not being a flower in a garden of thorns. So I'm going to have to ask you to walk under the influence of love, please.
Okay,
You
there
go
you go.
fuck
There you go.
yourself too. I'm out of this bitch.
Oh, Bingo, don't. Oh, he's slowly hobbling away from the car. I'm sure he'll come back. He just needs a moment to himself. Okay. There
Maybe I just need to work on being the opposite side of the puppet guy. I just, I'll work on that.
it's fine. He gets a little mad and he's having a moment. He just needs a
Okay.
Snickers. He's going to be okay.
So the two things that contribute to irritability. Number one, this is going to blow your mind, Dan.
All right, I'm ready.
Stress.
Yes. That is true. Wow, what a great truism. I feel enlightened.
So I think he's shifted from, he has two modes, I think, in this book: stupid and offensive, and then blindingly obvious. And so I guess we're going toward blindingly obvious now. Stress weighs you down, drains your energy, weakens your health, and invites you to be cranky. It can be brought on by relational causes, arguing, division, and bitterness. There are excessive causes, overworking, overplaying, and overspending. And there are deficiencies, not getting enough rest, nutrition, or exercise.
Yes.
Oftentimes, we inflict these daggers into ourselves, and this sets us up to be irritable. Yeah, thanks. This is such obvious stuff. If you don't sleep well enough, you're going to get stressed and then irritable.
Hey, have you checked your nutrition? That might be why you're mad. Hey, are you on your period? Maybe that's why you're mad right now. It's a real classic.
Also, the relational causes, arguing, division, and bitterness, those aren't root causes of anything. Those are the manifestations of what's already going wrong. So, dude, you're not really.
It's true.
When I don't get my drugs every day, I get real upset.
Oh, Bingo. Thanks for joining us again. Are you done now after that little outburst?
Yes, I'm walking. Let's just say I'm walking under the influence of love right now.
All right. That's good. That's good to hear. You can't, this is a professional show. Okay. We got at least 100 people watching right now, and you can't have outbursts like that. So we're going to move on. Okay.
All right. Okay. I'm listening.
All right. He's listening. He's back in the corner side.
I guess he's being some kind of flower amongst the thorns. Ha ha ha.
I'm seeing a lot of flowers right now, and yeah, I'd say so. I think that's true.
Erica says Webster's dictionary defines stress as.
Yeah, this really is what this is about. Like, just fucking basic ass shit. God, whoa! So we need to write a self-help book. We can self-publish that shit. The Zidane-ism's Guide to a Good Life, and just say things like avoid stress. Escape the system of capitalism, just basic shit.
Men, don't be overbearing.
Women,
don't be oversensitive bitches.
we have 2 chapters. One's on men, one's on women. The one on men is 1 page. The one on women is 30 pages.
Oops, sorry about that.
Oh shit!
I just had an alarm go off my phone that I left on accident. All right. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. This means you must balance, prioritize, and pace yourself. Too often we throw caution to the wind and run full steam ahead, doing what feels right at the moment. Soon we are gasping for air, wound up in knots, and ready to snap.
Yeah.
The increased pressure can wear away at our patience and our relationship. The Bible can help you avoid unhealthy stress.
Can it?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, that was so general it almost didn't describe anything. But like, there is such a thing as being too broad, apparently, and I'm learning from this book.
Somebody get this man a psychology degree.
Yeah, really. Wonderful insights. But tell me how the Bible can help with that, please.
It teaches you to let love guide your relationships so you aren't caught up in unnecessary arguments. Colossians 3:12-14. To pray through your anxieties instead of tackling them on your own. Philippians 4:6-7.
Okay.
To delegate when you are overworked. Exodus 18:17-23. Is that just the one where Moses quit judging all the cases by himself?
I don't know. I don't know every chapter of Exodus off the top of my head, but maybe.
That's what I would guess when they're talking about delegation from Exodus, but who knows?
Yeah.
To avoid overindulgence, Proverbs 25:16. Yeah, I would guess that all those verses are either tangentially related to these topics or just like saying obvious truisms in such broad terms that they're probably even less helpful than this book.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna like just reprint the fucking Bible. If like cut out the middleman. What are you doing here if the Bible's just solving all of our problems? Just print a book that says read the Bible. Like how much are you actually helping here? In this. Like if I was quoting like real actual advice from an article, I'd maybe give a quote from a paragraph from the article and then like elaborate on the examples or definitions, but like no, they're just like, hey, how do you fix this? The Bible says some stuff. Go look at that. Go read these things.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, real quick. I'm going to look up Colossians. Colossians 3:12-14. Put on, therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you. So basically, it's just describing being calm and not getting mad at people. Like there's nothing.
Sounds like a lot of hoopla.
A lot of hoopla. Let me go to New International Version so I can understand the next one better.
Oh yes, please. That's
All right.
I was gonna say that, Zod. I was gonna say, you're not looking at the New International Version because that's what's gonna give you the truth. That's
all right, Philippians 4:6-7.
Are you doing some?
Do
real
not be
research
anxious
here.
about everything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, present your request to God, blah, 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 and the peace of God. So basically, pray and you'll find peace.
Just pray
Cool.
about it.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool,
just pray
cool.
about it. Hey, listen, I know you're $1 million in debt from that mob boss, and the police are after you, and also you killed 7 people, and you are at the airport, and you're high as shit, and you're trying to get past TSA, and you also have at least 15 pounds of cocaine hidden in orifices within your body. But just pray about it, and you're going to be okay. You don't need to worry. There's no need for the anxieties, for sure.
Yeah, and then the Exodus one is literally just the thing about Moses, like where he was judging every single argument of the Israelites, and so his father-in-law said to, assign other people to do it. So this is
So
just a giant.
so administrative administrative task handling. Become a task manager with your life. All right. Cool.
Yeah, this is just like trying to see profound advice in really simple just biblical truisms or just stories. It's nothing.
Yeah. I don't know.
Listen, I've heard the sermon. Do I get my free drugs now? I saw the sign outside that says if I listen to the sermon, you guys are going to give me
No.
free drugs.
No. Bingo.
Bingo. This isn't that kind of church.
Yeah, that's not. Also, they wouldn't give you drugs. That's not a thing. It would probably be like food or something. You don't need it.
No.
They would tell you to stop drugs. You'd go in to do drugs, and that one guy Brad Stein was talking about would just be sitting in a circle with everybody, and they decided they didn't want him anymore. That's really what you're going for there.
Oh
Bingo.
shit! This is a scam. This is lame as fuck. I need to get out of here.
Oh, bingo. Come on. Don't leave again. Oh, God. He's so
Okay.
flaky. He'll be back.
It also exhorts you to take a Sabbath vacation day every week for worship and rest. This strategically allows you time to recharge, refocus, and add breathing room or margin to your weekly schedule. Establishing these kinds of extra spaces will place cushions between you and the pressures around you, reducing the stress that keeps you on edge around your mate. But there is a... Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. So the Sabbath is just a free holiday. Like, is that what we're describing? This holy holiday of the Israeli people that have very specific rules and laws and regulations around it. It's just, oh no, that's a day off, bud. You gotta give yourself a day off every week. Okay.
Yeah, spend a day being stressed out that you like if you pick up sticks you'll be stoned or stuff like that.
Right.
Like,
I would like to point out the Kilograms Chaos for Cosmos, who has officially given the funniest comment of the stream, which is Deuteronomy D's nuts. Thank you. Thank you, the Kilograms Chaos for Cosmos. Excellent comment. 10 out of 10. No notes.
Nice. Yeah, I think, again, this is the same thing. They know there's all these traditions in the Bible, such as the Sabbath or these different verses giving generic advice, and they want to see it as smart, and so they're just like applying their personal reasoning to it. Like, there's probably much more methodical ways to explain people how to build margin into their life so they don't get stressed out beyond just take one day a week and don't work.
Yeah, this is like worse than regular self-help books because at least some self-help books will have like, I don't know, a fucking chart for you to look at to like give you some tools. This isn't even giving you tools. This is just like, hey, here's some Bible verses, catch. You know?
And
like,
unless it's like from the manosphere, it won't be as offensive as this
right.
either.
You're a man? Okay, you need to do this. You're a woman? Sit down, pull up a chair. We got a lot to talk about. All right. You're about to change a lot of things.
Well, and it doesn't even feel like that because clearly this book isn't even talking to women. It's like, it's more like, okay, if you're a man, you need to buck up and be a strong man. And by the way, those women, am I right? They're just so
It's like,
emotional.
Hey, convince your woman to read this so you can get her to do what you want her to do. That's what this book reads to me.
Yeah. Or just do this stuff and she'll quit being so much like that.
Yeah. All right.
Unfortunately, in this totally healthy evangelical culture where men are told to be leaders and women to submit, sometimes women just get a little crazy and you just
they get
need
a
to
little
go through
uppity.
This. Yeah.
It's not good.
Okay, but there's a deeper reason why you can become irritable. You want to guess what that is in a Christian book?
Is it more drugs? Bingo. What is it today in drugs? You're on like a real kick today. It's not healthy. I don't know. What's the answer, Zod?
Selfishness.
Oh, selfishness. Yeah.
And selfishness, by the way, bingo, is the main cause of drugs. People are selfish. And
I haven't heard of that strain yet. Is that? Do they have that at the THC shops yet?
It's not a strain. It's a reason you do drugs. No.
Okay. Well, if it's not there, I'm not interested.
Do you guys even have shops down there?
In Sockland, absolutely. Weed is 100% legal.
Okay.
I smoke this shit up with Elmo every other week. Why do you think he talks like
Elmo.
that? Yeah, we all the Muppets and shit. We get together. It's a real good time. How would you? Can you imagine filming a school for preschoolers every single week of your life and staying interested? You gotta mellow that shit out, or you're gonna go crazy, dog. You're gonna go crazy. That's how they get by.
Okay.
I get my shit straight from Big Bird.
Jeez. I guess things are going down on the Sesame Street, huh?
Let me tell you how to get to the Sesame Street. I'll tell you what. It's some good shit.
All right. Okay. All right. Settle down, Bingo. We got to finish this show up. We only got so much time.
I think all those 70s cartoons from Sesame Street are like straight out of Bingo's head.
Probably.
All right. When you're irritable, the heart of the problem is primarily a problem of the heart. Jesus said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Blah, blah. That's so smart. Some people are like lemons. When life squeezes them, they put on a sour response.
Shut the fuck up.
He said that. Yeah.
What is this Forrest Gump ass parable?
Some people lemons. When life squeezes them, they pour out a sour response. Oh my God, you are so bad at what you do. Okay, here. But he puts on a counterpoint. You want to hear his counterpoint?
Yes. Give the counterpoint.
Some are more like peaches. When the pressure is on, the result is sweet.
Well, are we just gonna? Are we going to systematically categorize people as different kinds of fruits? I don't think that's a good way to live your life.
Hey, sweetie, are we going to be a lemon today or a
Are we
peach?
going to be? I'm feeling more like a dragon fruit, I think. I just want to be, I'm feeling a little fiery today, you know?
When I walked up and squeezed you, nothing sweet came out. It was all sour.
I once met a girl who said she wanted to be like a strawberry because she wanted a lot of seeds in her.
Oh, bingo. That's
God
terrible.
damn
We can't. I don't think we can say that on air, bingo. It's not good. Oh,
Being easily angered is an indicator that a hidden area of selfishness or insecurity is present where love is supposed to rule. But selfishness also wears many other masks. So basically, when you're mad, it's just because you're being selfish. Cool.
right.
Good job.
It's like you're like Jim Carrey in The Mask, where you sort of transform into various cartoon apparitions,
Yeah.
is my reading of that.
And this is just evangelical Christianity in a nutshell. Everything has to be boiled down to you're being good or bad, selfish or selfish. What this labels as selfishness oftentimes is just, well, wanting something. Like
Hey,
we all
listen,
have desires and needs and stuff.
are you mad that your civil rights are being taken away at an alarmingly fast pace? Have you considered the fact that you might be selfish? And then
Yeah.
that's really what's going on here.
That's basically the end of God's Not Dead 3.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It really is.
Hey, chill
Yeah.
out, guys. Everybody's so angry at Christians just because we want to stop you from getting married. And
Yeah. Here's one. So God was insecure, and that checks out. Yeah, that's a good point too. The kilograms. I think that explains a lot about God's behavior.
yeah, I mean, there is such a thing as being overly selfish, obviously. But this book is not, when the book says that frustration comes out of stress and selfishness, it's not really addressing all the actual important nuance in here, which is that sometimes your needs and wants aren't being met in a healthy way.
Yeah, Melly has another great point. So when your wife is irritated at you for not doing the laundry after she asks you for the 10th time, she is being selfish. And that is true. And that we're going to write that specifically in our upcoming book, I think, on the good word of the Zadanza.
It seems also like some sour lemon juice is coming out of her.
Sounds like some sour lemonade's coming out of you, baby. That's not good. You got to be like a watermelon, full of hydrating liquid.
Decibel 19, we got another $10 super chat, so thank you. You guys are being very generous tonight. I would like a dedicated puppet show for a Zadanza show.
Hell yeah! I'll bring everybody over. It was gonna be a good time. We're gonna have the Cookie Monster and Elbow, and I guess Baggy can come too if he's okay with that shit. But he better not fucking narc. Okay.
I wouldn't count on Baggy for that, bingo.
That's some bullshit right there. He's not invited. Don't invite him. He's not coming.
All right, we're almost at the bottom of the hour. Let's get to the rest of this page here. All right, selfishness wears many other masks. One of them is lust. I didn't see that coming. Lust, for example, is the result. Oh, he's just going to boil this down into such nuanced terms.
God, how long is this one? This is a long one. I don't like it.
We got another page.
Oh,
this really isn't that long. We've just been pausing more.
Okay.
Lust, for example, is a result of being ungrateful for what you have and choosing to covet or burn with passion for something that is forbidden. When your heart is lustful, it will become easily frustrated and angered. James 4:1-3. So basically, if you want something, you don't get it. Except they have to boil it down to a sin of lust.
Yeah. Question: is it a sin to lust after your wife?
Is she forbidden?
Well, she can be. I'm speaking in the hypothetical of this book. I'm not talking about actual wife.
No, I know.
Yeah, just need to make that clear.
Well, if she commits the sin of, closing off to you sexually, then I guess she would.
Right. That's okay. Good to know.
Bitterness takes root, and lust is the first one. Bitterness is the second one. Bitterness takes root when you respond in a judgmental way and refuse to work through your anger. Yeah, they're not telling us how to work through their anger. They're just like explaining everything in terms of being sin. They literally just said expressing how hurt and frustrated you are is the opposite reaction of love. So how are you supposed to work through your anger if you can't even express it or acknowledge it? All right.
Yeah, it's very silly.
Greed for more money and possessions will frustrate you with unfulfilled desires. I feel like this
Cash
is
rules everything around me, baby. Gotta get that money. Dollar bill, y'all. Woo! Wu-Tang Clan. Ain't nothing to mess with.
That's right, Baggy.
All right.
Bingo. Sorry. He's just all about that money.
I feel like greed and lust work pretty interchangeably in this for these purposes. These strong cravings coupled with dissatisfaction lead you to lash out at anyone who stands in your way. Pride, last one here, leads you to act harshly in order to protect your ego and reputation. These motivations can never be satisfied, but when love enters your heart, it calms you down and inspires you to quit focusing on yourself. It loosens your grasp and helps you let go of unnecessary things. So basically, he just says that wanting things or not getting things, and then he boils them down into sinful terminology, causes you to get frustrated. Cool. Good job, buddy.
I say, fuck it. You get what you want. Get what you want out of life. YOLO. I'm all about it. Take as many unnecessary risks as you possibly can. You should look up actuary tables of how people die every day and increase your risk towards those deaths.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll do that there. I'm so old, I'm gonna croak anytime here anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, fuck it. Just be like that guy from Up and just start attaching balloons to your house or something, you know?
Okay. I feel like that would be the sin of greed or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because you're lusting after the sky. You're horny for it. You
All right.
gotta know.
Love will lead you to forgive instead of holding a grudge, to be grateful instead of greedy, to be content rather than blah, blah, blah. Love encourages you to be happy when someone else succeeds rather than lying awake at night in envy. Love says share the inheritance rather than to fight with your relatives. It reminds you to prioritize your family rather than sacrifice them for a promotion at work. In each decision, love ultimately lowers your stress and helps you release venom that can build up inside. It sets your heart to respond to your spouse with patience and encouragement rather than anger and blah, 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 blah. All right. Exasperation. So basically, love is being nice and making right choices, I guess.
Yeah. What
Do you
if
feel like
you glossed over it, but what if your work was preaching for the Lord and you got to make sacrifices like, "Oh, I'm being called to evangelize to Orlando right now."
hey,
And I
Dan,
gotta go.
Dan,
Mm.
you're bringing nuance and an actual dilemma into this, and that's not the point of this book.
I get it. The energy's not there. I get it. I understand.
This
I just
book
have
is all
questions.
about hard set, black and white, sin and not sin decisions. None of this trying to help people work through actual scenarios that's going to come up in their lives that make this difficult.
Mm. Well, that's too bad, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no,
guess I wanted more.
this chapter might have been the dumbest one so far.
Definitely dumb. Had some highlights. It had a strong first half, and then it got more boring towards the end, which this book is overall pretty boring, but at least it has its moments.
It literally just said don't be irritated, and then just gave the most generic but also like off the wall random ping-ponging descriptions of what makes people frustrated. And
Yeah.
okay, maybe not the dumbest. It feels the most half-baked. He had this idea about irritation in his head, and he didn't really form it in anything coherent.
Yeah. Well, at least we were given some nice heuristics, though, Zod. We were able now, for the rest of my life, I'm going to compare people and their attitudes by what fruit I think that they are most portraying. So that's something,
Yeah.
And I'll take that for what
All
it
right.
is.
You want to hear
But
today's dare real quick? And then we should
yes,
wrap
I
this
would
up.
like to hear the dare.
Today's dare. Choose today to react to tough circumstances in your marriage in loving ways instead of with irritation. Begin by making a list below of areas where you need to add margin to your schedule. Then list any wrong motivations that you need to release from your life.
No. Now, where's my drugs?
Okay.
Bingo. We already told you this. It's not happening.
Fuck you. I stayed through this whole thing. I want it.
All right.
Give it to me.
We gotta wrap this up.
You're being he's being
sorry,
real
go ahead.
lemon right now. I'm sorry. He's just being real
Sorry.
lemon. I'm just gonna put him in the corner. Anyway, please continue.
Oh, no, I mean, we're done. I'm just saying we're done with the book. We're a little past time.
Yeah. Well, what did you learn today? I learned that rap could get worse. And again, about the fruit thing, that's pretty good. I think those are my two main takeaways. How about you?
I learned that Wes Huff is basically just pandering to Christians, which which we already knew. So I guess I didn't really learn it. I learned that irritation comes from having unmet needs, but that those needs are all sins.
Right.
Also, that women can be a little prickly.
Yes, true. Like
And
lemons.
then finally, I learned that rap can, in fact, be awesome sometimes.
Wow. Okay. Well, we could not be more diametrically opposed on that last point, but we'll take it for what it is. Folks, this has been another great episode of Sedance. Be sure to read our upcoming book / novella / propaganda piece / romance novel / true crime story. The tenets of Zionism, 40 ways to improve your life through what two guys say on the internet. Coming soon. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of Bingo and his bombastic commentary that, was a little much, but it is what it is.
All right.
And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's good. We're good.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. See you later.
Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata. Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata. La, 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 la casa del merengue. La, 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 y la casa de la bachata.